My pregnancy with Mallory was beautiful. I had 9 blissful months. Our ultrasounds were wonderful. It was just a blissful pregnancy. And I'll never forget that Friday night, I started having some contractions. I went and got tons of groceries because I knew that she was coming really soon. We were very excited. Our son was excited. We were feeling the anticipation. And then that Saturday, I felt the contractions even more. And I remember getting Zach's bag packed to go to the hospital, calling everybody saying, hey, this is time. You know, we're gonna have Mallory in our lives really soon. I remember when my son was born, I looked at him and I knew he was mine because he looked just like my baby picture. He was just a spitting image of it. When Mallory came out, the connection that a mom and daughter should have with each other as soon as the baby is born was not there for us. And I know that sounds horrible to say, but I looked at her and I turned to Brian and I said, she doesn't look like either one of us. But there was something missing and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. She wasn't warming up and her cry was really weak. And that pit in my stomach just grew even more.
When we were given the news that she likely had Down syndrome, she had shown several characteristics that were commonplace with that. And so our doctor, wanted to let us know. And also as a precaution, because of the common heart problems that are associated with children with Down syndrome, she wanted to do an echocardiogram as soon as possible. That was performed, but it took twice as long as it typically takes. And they gave us the news that she had several heart defects, and as a result would need to have open heart surgery very soon. She was transferred to the UW Children's Hospital, and by 9 days old, she had had her first heart surgery.
I just remember just wanting to hold her as much as possible, and I got as much time with her as possible. She was hooked up to so much equipment. Any mom just wants to take their baby home. You just want to have your baby, you just want to leave the hospital, and you just want to take your baby home and snuggle with them and just be normal. And I knew that I wasn't going to get that time with her.
I just remember looking at her lying in the bed and thinking, it doesn't look like my daughter at all. I mean, I know I've only known her 9 days, but that it doesn't look like her. She had so many different lines running to her. I remember just seeing all these different little tags and labels that were on each one, and seeing these 3, which seemed massive to me, tubes coming out of her chest for fluid drainage. Which I don't remember being prepared for that either. There were just so many things that just taking it in all at once became very, very difficult.
So once we thought we were through with all of her surgeries and any complications, we thought we were really smooth sailing. We just had follow-up visits and therapy sessions that we were working on. And March 8th, I'll never forget, we were at my parents' house, and I was feeding her, and she had started to have a facial twitch. And it was just out of the ordinary, very bizarre, very weird. The EEG showed that she was having seizures, and the MRI did show that she did have a seizure that happened from a blood clot during one of her surgeries, flew up into her brain and caused her to have a stroke. I knew that we were going to be set back even more because her speech was going to be delayed even more because of the stroke. And we just felt like, how much more can her little body take? I mean, really, she's been through so much, and then to put having a stroke and having seizures on top of it, just really, we just didn't know if her body could take it and go through anymore.
She still does have a defect that we do need to keep an eye out for. As she gets older, I think around the age of 9 or 10 could become problematic. But for now, she's got the green light to just be a kid and do everything that entails. It's like just the ultimate greeting when you come home after a day of work, to have her greet you with such enthusiasm and love. It's just, yeah, and I get to experience that pretty much every day.
So I'm really hoping that her future holds for her just that of a lot of growth, and that she goes to school and that she loves school, that she has great friends, that she is just excited every day for life.
Definitely, I think it's very important for people to support the American Heart Association simply because of the fact that the money that is brought in gets used not only for education, but it gets used to support the infrastructure that made it possible for my daughter to have 2 successful heart surgeries. The funding that is used for the research, the technology, all of these things play a vital role in getting the rest of the world up to speed on how to best approach and deal with these situations. And as hard as it was for us to go through that with our daughter, had we lost her, how much harder would that be? And the fact that the AHA is helping make that number shrink so that less parents have to deal with that loss, so that more parents can be where we're at today, where we have our beautiful and healthy and smiling daughter to hold in our arms and to watch and to grow and to experience those milestones that many before us were not able to. And as that continues, obviously the benefit of that is that number gets smaller and smaller of the kids that don't get to be with their parents, that don't get to experience those milestones. And I'm just really grateful for everyone that's contributed up until now, and that everyone that will contribute tonight, that you are helping another family like ours to be able to experience that future with their child. And I thank you for that.